So we now have Joker, our first DLC fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we now have an idea of what these challenger packs can contain. We got Joker, we got Persona music, we got a stage, Mementos, we got spirits from Persona, and we even got a new version of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate version 3.0, and we got stage builder added and stuff. So we have a pretty good understanding of what it's probably going to look like when we get the rest of these challenger packs and the rest of these DLC fighters. Now that we've seen a challenger pack release, we have a much better understanding of what that's going to entail for the rest of the fighters. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. We don't have to speculate so blindly about what's to come. We have a pretty good understanding of what that's probably going to look like. So before I get into this video, I just want to say we were speculating about a possible Nintendo Direct or a Smash Focus Direct, and instead what we got was just a video put up online on the 16th out of nowhere that basically highlighted Joker's gameplay and what we were getting in 3.0. So it was not a Nintendo Direct, kind of closer to a Smash Focus Direct, but there was no warning. It was just dropped on us. So the question is still, are we going to get a Nintendo Direct? Pretty much the question is, are we going to get a Nintendo Direct before E3? As we're pretty close to E3, so, you know, is Nintendo going to want to do a Direct before then? There's a lot of games coming out pretty soon. We have like Luigi's Mansion, Mario Maker 2, I think are both releasing in the summer, and we have like Animal Crossing at some point this year, so we haven't seen like anything on that. Another thing pointing to the possibility of getting some sort of Nintendo Direct was this tweet from Nintendo of America. It says, Tom Nook is here to help you file your tax returns, and he already has an idea for what to do with your refund. Hashtag Nintendo Switch, Nintendo.com/Switch. And there's a picture of Tom Nook holding a bag of bells. And if you look closely, this is actually a brand new render of Tom Nook, and it's in HD. So most likely this is for the new Animal Crossing game. So if Nintendo's putting out a picture of Tom Nook and, you know, taxes are done in April and stuff, is it possible we'll hear something about Animal Crossing this month or in some new Nintendo Direct coming up soon? Well, we still have something P5S coming on the 25th, and because of that Best Buy leak, it's possible that Persona 5 is coming to Switch, so maybe P5S is a Switch game. We also have Labo VR is updating for Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild on the 25th. We are also getting something announced for A Hat in Time on the 25th. So the 25th just seems like a very eventful day, and earlier in the month I was thinking that if we're going to get a Nintendo Direct or possibly a Smash Focus Direct or when Joker was going to get shown off or any of that stuff, the 25th might be the right time to do that. That was my guess, and it was always just a guess. I was basically basing that off of the fact that we had to get Joker's gameplay shown off, we had to get 3.0 shown off. I didn't think they would just, you know, give those to us blindly, and they didn't. They gave us a video, but now that we've seen that, I'm kind of thinking that we probably won't get a Nintendo Direct, and probably not until E3. That's just my guess. It's still possible we could. As far as the 25th being really eventful, well, the week after the 25th, on the 29th, starts Golden Week in Japan, and that's like a week-long holiday, so probably the reason a lot of stuff is getting announced on the 25th is because that is kind of the last good day to announce something before that whole week-long holiday. So that's probably why a lot of stuff is piling up there. Okay, so now that all of that is out of the way, let's talk speculation. Let's talk Super Smash Bros. Speculation and leaks and theories and data mines and all the fun stuff we like to talk about. Before I get into all that, though, I just want to put up a little bit of a disclaimer. Basically, since we've gotten our first Challenger Pack now, and like I said, we have a pretty good idea of what's probably going to come with the rest of the Challenger Packs, we can start to infer much better about what those are going to look like. So we can kind of figure out some possible potential patterns, you know, that'll happen with these based on what we got with Joker in this first Challenger Pack and stuff. So because of that, I'll just come right out and say it. I really feel like the whole idea that the rest of the DLC fighters, at least for this Fighter Pass, I have no idea if we're going to have other ones, but for this Fighter Pass, really feels like they are going to be third-party characters that do not have spirits or anything in Smash yet. Probably series that are completely, you know, absent from Smash at this point. There's going to be totally new series. That's what this is telling me. This is just a maybe. This is just a probably. This is just speculation. But I just want to come right out and say that here. This doesn't mean we can't get a first-party character. This doesn't mean we can't get some character that does have a spirit in Smash or something like that. I just have to say that if I'm going to speculate on what the rest of the Challenger Packs will probably look like, based on what this Challenger Pack is, that's where I'm leaning, and I'll explain why. And I just want to put up a disclaimer, because I know a lot of people are going to say, oh man, what does that mean? This character's out. Does that mean this character's out? That character's out? It means that it's more likely that they're out. It means that it's more likely that, a third-party character from a series that has nothing in Smash yet. That's what I'm thinking the rest of the Challenger packs are, but it's not concrete. It's not in stone, guys. So if you're dead set on some other character, could still happen. So let's talk about what we got here. Actually, let's start off and talk about what we didn't get, because so many people have asked me about this. So, is Jack Joker? The Datamine for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had 3 names. Paku, which was Paku and Flower, which was Piranha Plant. We had Jack, and we now have confirmation Jack was, in fact, Joker. So Jack being linked to the Mementos stage, that was Mementos, that was Joker's stage. Jack is Joker in the code. That is now confirmed. We also had a third fighter named Brave. We still are not sure who that is. However, here's the strange thing that we didn't get. Jack had attached to him the name Jane for I believe it was the 6th alt costume for Jack, which is Joker. So Joker's 6th alt costume had the codename Jane on it, and Jane had pony hair attached, which was most likely a ponytail. And we did not get a female alt costume for Joker, and that was sort of what everybody was guessing at. That's what I was guessing at, was that Jane was going to be a female alt costume for Joker. Interestingly enough, Persona 5 The Royal does appear to have some new, very main focus character, if not the protagonist of that game, as a female character with a ponytail. So we're supposedly getting more information on P5 The Royal and P5S on the 24th and 25th of this month. So maybe we'll get something about Jane in Smash then. I have no idea. Everybody's really perplexed on what happened with Jane. It was a data mine, and other parts of the data mine did come true. We did get Mementos as the stage. We did get stage builders. So yeah, it's really strange that Jane isn't here, and it still predicted basically a character that we hadn't seen from, some new Persona 5 games. So yeah, it's very, very strange what's happening there. All we really have right now for Jane is a bunch of theories. Basically, it's possible she was just a scrapped concept. Maybe that P5, the Royal character, was going to be an alt costume for Joker, and then they decided against it, maybe time constraints or something. Who knows? It's possible she could be downloaded later on. Maybe she's going to be a alternate costume that comes for Joker down the line. Maybe all the characters will get more alt costumes. I mean, a lot of the characters dropped some costumes. We have everybody with 8 right now, so maybe they'll bump that number up to like 10 or 12 or something and have alternate costume packs. It's possible. We just got Stage Builder. So, big things like that could be coming. Dr. Hypercakes had this to say about the background characters on Mementos. So the data miner, Dr. Hypercakes, wrote this: the Phantom Thieves background characters use their code names, e.g. P, Skull. At the moment, it seems there's no sign of anything related to Jane. So it seems Jane is not one of the background characters on Mementos. It wasn't, being used to model that. That always seems strange to me since it was attached to one of Joker's alternate costumes. It's possible Jane was a codename for the Academy outfit that Joker has, the one where he has the glasses instead of the mask. That's possible, but I believe that Jane is now gone from the code, so I have no idea what was going on there. I threw out the possibility that Jane could be an alternate costume added to Joker later on. It's also possible that Jane could be a Echo Fighter character. Maybe we're getting free Echo Fighters for the DLC characters, and they'll show up the way Stage Builder did and just be downloaded in. Maybe after Persona 5 The Royal announces whoever this female character is, maybe that will be a Echo Fighter of Joker, and we'll get it for free if you download Joker, something like that. It's a possibility. I think the most interesting theory has to do with the fact that Joker apparently has some things in his code that base him off of Piranha Plant. So Sabi talked to some data miners, and they found out that there's some code for Piranha Plant in the character Joker. So Sabi says, if you guys are still interested in the character base argument, if there's any character Joker was based on, it was Piranha Plant. In 1.0, Joker just had copy-pasted frame data from Piranha Plant. Just goes to show you how it really means nothing. The characters aren't really similar at all. It's just a way for them to copy and paste the structure and then edit it from there. I also saw a video of Joker's movement that had a lot of things from different fighters, so I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So he does look like he's kind of just a hodgepodge of a lot of different characters, probably made from scratch. Okay, so Joker was most likely mostly made from scrap, but they copy and pasted the last fighter they had, Piranha Plant, and then built Joker on top of that, or whatever. They used something with Piranha Plant. What's interesting to me, based on the fact that we had Jane in the code for Joker, is maybe, and this is just a theory, maybe Jane is another one of our code names, just like Pacu, Jack, and Brave, and it is the next fighter. Maybe they were already making another fighter, Jane, whoever that is, and they were putting that fighter on top of Joker and then going from there. I don't know if that means Jane has to be the next fighter or just one of the DLC fighters or whatever, but it's just an interesting theory. It's probably the most interesting thing I can think of with Jane, though I'm leaning more towards Jane is likely either scrapped, like a scrapped idea for an alternate costume, or possibly alternate costume packs added in later. Considering a lot of the characters did lose alternate costumes from previous games, and we just got something really big added like Stage Builder, I do think adding alternate costumes for characters is something that could happen, so maybe that was just getting prepared for that. At the end of the day, though, I have no idea. So this whole Jane thing is very perplexing. I think everybody's really confused by it. So if people have other theories, definitely leave those in the comments because I'm happy to read more. So another thing that we're missing that was data mined is home run contests. So we data mined Stage Builder, but we also data mined home run contest, and that also is not part of 3.0. But my guess is home run contest will probably just be added later down the line. Again, if this challenger pack came with a big update and had Stage Builder, I'm guessing that that'll happen in future updates and we'll get other modes. So I'm guessing home run contests will happen down the line. Now, another thing we did not get is Jack Frost. Jack Frost is sort of the mascot for Atlas and the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei games, and we didn't get anything Jack Frost. No Mii costumes, nothing on the stage, not in Joker's taunts, there's no Jack Frost. Now, this wasn't anything that was like data mined, but it was in that 5chan leak, the good 5chan leak that just guessed at Joker and Erdrick and actually correctly guessed that a Grand Blue fighting game was coming. So I'm going to read that leak again. So this was over on 5chan, and it says, Joker, the stage is Mementos, which we did get. Jack Frost appears on screen with a skill. That didn't happen. Marketing for P5R, complete version, and P5U, fighting game. P5R is 2019. P5U is delayed because ARC is busy with the development of a Grand Blue fighting game. That was true, however, it was already a rumor. A lot of people think this is the first place it came from. That was already floating around. Then the other part of the leak was about Erdrick, and it says, Erdrick, stage is Alefgard, Erdrick male and Erdrick female, 2 colors each of Ana Lucia and the Dragon Quest XI hero. Slime appears on screen with a skill achieved through active collaboration on Square's side to the benefit of the overseas market for the Dragon Quest series. So now that we did not get Jack Frost appearing on screen with a skill, whatever that was supposed to mean, didn't happen, so this leak is now busted. And I hate to have to keep saying this, but I know since this leak was from 5chan, there was another 5chan leak that had Joker and Erdrick, Steve, Doomguy, and Ryu on it. That leak is now also busted because that one, if you read the Erdrick part, it's very similar to the Erdrick part in this leak, and that leak was already busted because the person said that they got it from Reddit, and this was a Japanese forum, so it seemed like they were probably just trying to gain credibility since a lot of leaks come from the West, surprisingly, and that leak was not findable on Reddit. There was no original Reddit post for that, so yeah, that leak is busted. All the 5chan leaks are gone. This is not to say we can't get Erdrick. I still think Erdrick is extremely likely. I still think Erdrick is probably our next DLC fighter, and I still think Erdrick is probably Brave. So obviously we still don't know for sure who that final codename fighter that was data mined Brave is, but my guess is still Erdrick. I'm basing this off of a lot of leakers hearing about Erdrick, or at least a Dragon Quest rep. It's possible the Dragon Quest rep is something like Erdrick and Luminari and other heroes, maybe all alternate costumes like Bowser Jr. That's been proposed before, but I do still think that Brave fits Erdrick best. We actually had this recently. So this event is happening. It's a Dragon Quest live spectacle tour where actors are dressed up as Dragon Quest characters, and in one of the pamphlets for it, Erdrick there is named Brave in English. It's one of the only things written in English on that page, so yeah, even more evidence in favor of Erdrick, or at least a Dragon Quest hero protagonist character being the codename Brave. So, speaking of data mined stuff, is there any new things that have been data mined since Joker and 3.0 came out? Yes, there is, so let's take a look at that. The data miner Mishima over on Twitter wrote this, and this is a rough Google translation thing. So the Joker had been given a codename of Jack, but also in Arsene, Doyle, codename was attached, of course. It's not that Conan Doyle invented Arsene Lupin, but it reminds me of Pin. So obviously that's just kind of a computer translation, so it's kind of weird sounding. But basically, Arsene was codenamed Doyle in the code. So that's probably Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the inventor of Sherlock Holmes. So to name Arsene after the character Arsene is based on, Arsene Lupin's rival Sherlock Holmes's author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, is a pretty far, reaching code name. So that gives us a kind of good idea about how much they're really hiding this stuff. So other things that got data mined are some spirits. Added to the code for the latest version of Super Smash Bros. Are spirits for Peachette and 4 spirits for Labo. So most likely, in the future, at some point, having those games with those characters in it on your Switch in the same way like Hey You Pikachu and Hey You Eevee added a Pikachu and Eevee spirit, most likely you'll have Peachette added and some Labo stuff added. So to me, this is kind of pointing towards those missing spirits such as Porky and Sylix, probably coming in a similar way. I'm thinking Sylix will come in if you have Metroid Prime 4 in your Switch, then, Smash will add that spirit. That's probably why that one's missing. And then Porky, well, this would probably hurt his chances of becoming a character. Like I said, I'm now leaning towards it all being third-party characters with their series not represented in Smash, and I'll get into more why I think that is. But I'm thinking the spirit for Porky will probably show up either if they make some sort of Mother collection and that gets released, and then we get the Porky spirit added then, which would be awesome because that would mean Mother 3 getting localized, so I'd be very excited about that. It would actually be cool to me, even though it would mean Porky not getting in as a playable character. Or it's possible the Porky spirit could get added when a new mode gets added, possibly like a boss rush mode, as Porky is the one boss character, or former boss character, that did not get a spirit. So maybe that spirit will get added when that mode gets added. Now that we've had Stage Builder added, that seems like a possibility. Adding boss rush mode and lots of other modes seem like they might be coming down the line, possibly getting updated alongside Challenger Packs the same way Joker's Challenger Pack came with Stage Builder. Speaking of Stage Builder coming in version 3.0 alongside when the Challenger Pack for Joker is getting released, something interesting happened here. So we have Stage Builder, and the tab for it is up at the top of the Stage Select screen. So on the Stage Select screen, we now have Normal and Custom as 2 possible tabs. Now the really interesting thing about this is that we now have 5 empty spots for stages down at the bottom, and that includes with mementos being added. So we do not have 5 more fighters coming. We have 4 more fighters coming in the Fighter Pass. So the random button switches to the training mode. So training mode is not taking up one of these spots. These are 5 blank spots down at the bottom. So we're definitely getting a stage for the next 4 Challenger Packs. So that's 4 more, and then there'll still be a blank spot there. So I don't know if that means we'll get some extra stage with one of the characters, or possibly that'll get added the same way Stage Builder got added, just some extra stage for free that everybody gets, or maybe that's leaving room open for like a button for even more stages, which could lead to even more fighter packs. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself with that, but I think at least having one final stage, I think, filling this up all the way, getting one extra stage is now very, very likely. A lot of people were thinking that was going to be a button for Stage Builder, but and like the custom stages you've built, but now that is not the case. So yeah, I do think there's probably an extra stage there. Okay, so I had a ton of people asking me about this next topic, and personally I'm very excited about this next topic. So in the trailer for Joker in version 3.0 and Stage Builder, Nintendo showed us a bunch of pre-made stages, like the kind of stages we'd be able to make in Stage Builder, and one of the stages they showed was this. It is an image of a green witch with a cauldron and a black cat. And I have to say, given the way the witch looks, she's green, she has the big long nose, and yes, these are typical witch features. She looks a lot like Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie. That was my immediate response to seeing this was, wow, that really looks like a hint towards Banjo-Kazooie, a hint towards Gruntilda. Now, Gruntilda does not have a black cat. However, she does have a cauldron that, honestly, I don't know if those are bubbles or eyeballs. I know witches and like Eye of Newt and stuff like that, but it looks a lot like Gruntilda's Cauldron even. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, so hints for things in Smash are always something to be really wary of. Need I remind everyone of the purple and yellow chairs in the background of that one Smash Direct where everyone was saying that that pointed to some character. Now, I will say, everyone was pointing to different characters. It was like, this means Rayman's in, this means Shantae is in, this means Skull Kid is in, this means Waluigi is in. So yeah, there's a lot of purple and yellow themed characters that I did not realize. So yeah, obviously the chair hint thing never came to pass, so not everything we see is always a hint for a character in Smash. However, conversely, are there sometimes hints for characters in Smash? Yeah, there are. So the other Direct, Sakurai had a rope ladder behind him and what looks like a barrel, and there was some plants, and it is very, honestly, Donkey Kong themed looking. And who do we get after that? We got King K. Rool. Back in Smash 4, people were saying they saw Pac-Man in the clouds for Greninja's trailer, and yeah, we did eventually get Pac-Man, and that Pac-Man cloud looks pretty spot on. So is this witch actually supposed to be a hint at Banjo? I don't know. I'd like to say it is. I think Banjo's already really likely. This witch does look a lot like Gruntilda. Green, the big nose, it really does look like Gruntilda. There are other ways to do witches. This one does look like Gruntilda. I do think the next time we get a character revealed, it's going to be at E3. So I'm thinking, especially since we didn't get Erdrick shown with Joker getting released, I thought maybe it'd be a Nintendo Direct. Maybe we get Erdrick shown, or whoever Brave is, or whatever the next character is. Personally, again, I'm still thinking it's Erdrick. But I could see E3 releasing 2 characters. I could see that being the next time we see a character, and we could get 2. E3's pretty big like that. So maybe we'll get Erdrick, and then we'll also get Banjo shown, and that would make sense to me. I mean, we have Erdrick would be really popular in the East, and Banjo would be really popular in the West, and specifically, is a Western character made by Rare in the UK and now owned by Microsoft, which is a American company. And with Nintendo and Microsoft so close, I do think if we get Banjo, it will be shown off at E3. It's the time where both companies would be together. It'd be the right time to do it. So is this a hint for, the next time they show off characters that it's going to be Banjo? It's a big maybe, but I'm going to say it doesn't hurt Banjo's chances. It could be a hint. It might be nothing, but it could definitely be a hint. So another interesting thing that was shown off during the Stage Builder segment that was pointed out to me by this friend of mine, Arwald, on Discord, is that this stage looks a lot like Link's stage from Soul Calibur. So yeah, there was this stage from Soul Calibur, and Link, I believe it was his home stage. Yeah, it looks a lot like it. Has the pillars, has the same similar kind of colors to it, and the people fighting on that stage when it was shown in the trailer are Link, Shulk, and Roy, who are all, like weapon users. So was this a hint at Soul Calibur? I'm not entirely sure. If you look over on the stage select that they showed in that same trailer, that stage is called Temple of Zelda, so it might have just been a very generic pillar-themed Zelda stage, but I do think a Soul Calibur rep would be really cool. I think they'd probably add Nightmare. He's kind of like the face of the series, but personally I'd like Yoshimitsu because I actually play Yoshimitsu, and Yoshimitsu would kind of double dip rep Tekken and Soul Calibur, so that'd be cool in my book. Okay, so now let's start to talk about how we can narrow down speculation and how I'm now really leaning towards the rest of these Challenger Pack fighters being third-party characters from series that are not represented in Smash yet. So that's been a theory since the beginning, I think even before Joker was shown, and then when Joker was shown, a lot of people thought, yeah, it's probably going to be third-party characters. Ever since all the spirits got shown, people really thought that those might deconfirm characters. It was kind of back and forth, and while I've always kind of been leaning towards spirits probably deconfirm characters, I'm now much more leaning towards that direction, and here's why. So we got a full spirit board of Persona spirits with Joker, and Sakurai tweeted this. Once again, this is a rough translation, but it says, in the award, we also added the spirit battle. Of course, the theme is tied to each character. Unlike the spirit board, it does not escape or switch. You can fight freely and get spirits as many times as you want. This is going to add each time DLC fighter enters, so please enjoy. So since Sakurai is saying that every time we get a DLC fighter, we're going to get a bunch of spirits alongside that fighter and, like a whole spirit board's worth. So most likely that means characters whose series are already represented in Smash are probably not going to get in as DLC fighters, at least not for this fighter pass, at least not in this way, because I just don't see, say, Silex getting in and bringing a bunch of Metroid spirits. I mean, maybe he could bring a bunch of Metroid Prime 4 spirits. It's possible, but I'm really leaning towards this being third-party characters whose series are not yet represented in Smash. Now, we had the Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini names in the section of the code that lists off what series have spirits in Smash. That's in the code for Smash. I still think it's possible when Banjo comes in that we will get a bunch of rare spirits alongside Banjo. I think it's possible that what happened here is that Nintendo initially was just going to add Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini spirits into the base game. I mean, we have companies that don't have playable fighters with spirits. We have, say, Rayman from Ubisoft. We have Tecmo spirits, etc. So I think maybe they were just going to add some minor rare game spirits and then chose not to do that with base game because it would give away the fact that Rare is working on Smash or in agreement with Smash for something, and I think that would have given away Banjo, so they pulled the plug on it. That's my guess. Some people are saying that they think Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini were something that Nintendo thought they owned and then realized later that they didn't, so they took it out. But that seems kind of reaching to me. To be perfectly honest, that seems more reaching than them actually having Rare on board for these games and then just deciding, no, let's not put them in the base game. So yeah, considering we get a bunch of spirits with a fighter, I think if Banjo's getting in, I think when Banjo gets in, we'll probably get the Blast Core spirit, we'll probably get the Jet Force Gemini spirit or spirits alongside Banjo-Kazooie spirits and possibly just a bunch of rare spirits or a bunch of Microsoft spirits. So yeah, that's my guess right now with what's going on with that. Okay, so getting a bunch of spirits alongside a fighter in that way that Sakurai is saying is going to happen every single DLC fighter seems to shut the door on a lot of potential characters. Well, let's talk about something that opens the door for a lot of potential characters. Joker has a gun. Now, I did not think they would add a gun to Smash. I remember back when Snake came into Smash, there was this whole big deal about how he would use, like real weapons, but they'd be mostly explosives and things that, people just don't generally get their hands on and stuff. And then we had Bayonetta, but, she has her guns shoot like energy bullets or something, and they're like shoe guns and stuff. So it's not like a real gun. But then we have Joker, and he just has a straight up realistic gun. So personally, the series that I think this opens up the doors for the most is Resident Evil, as I always thought Resident Evil is a really huge series. We have Capcom and Smash already. We have nothing really from the horror genre unless you count Castlevania, and Resident Evil is definitely like the face of the horror genre of video games. So I think that now that we can definitely have a character with a gun, getting like Leon or Jill or someone in Smash seems very, very likely. I am now definitely adding them to my personal guess of what's going to happen with this Challenger Pack. I think a Resident Evil fighter will probably happen. That's my guess. Another series people weren't sure about because of guns and things like that is Doom. Now, Doom was on that 5chan leak, and the 5chan leaks are now dead, but Doom is still a possibility. There was this little interview from Bethesda. It says, as a final last-minute question, Hines was then asked about Super Smash Bros., and particularly whether or not Bethesda has spoken to Nintendo about the franchise. His response? Oh yeah. So I don't think that definitely means we have to get a Bethesda character. I think just about every company, given the chance, would probably tell Nintendo, hey, if you want one of our characters for Smash, we're open to it. So many companies and so many people have said that they would love to have their characters in Smash. So that might be all that's going on here. But Doom is owned by Bethesda, and because of that quote, it is possible Doom could be one of the DLC characters, like the Doom Marine, Doom Guy, whatever you want to call him. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, I'm just going to talk about briefly, because I actually think I want to highlight it in its own video, because I think it's a very compelling theory. And that is the Mii costumes that came out alongside Joker and this Challenger Pack and everything. Those costumes were 4 costumes for the Persona series, and then we got the Tails and Knuckles costume from Smash 4 returning. Each of those Mii fighter costumes are 75 cents, I believe, and the really cool thing with the Persona ones is, at least the ones that have like swords, when they swing, there's like a trail, and I believe it's the color associated with their Persona game, so I just thought that was really neat. That's a pretty cool thing to add to a Mii costume. But the really interesting thing here is that the Tails and Knuckles Sega Sonic Mii fighter costumes are coming out with this challenger pack. Now, Joker is from Persona. Persona is owned by Atlas, and Atlas is owned by Sega. So Sega is getting its Mii costumes back alongside a fighter that they also own. So all the third-party Mii costumes were cut from the base game of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. 4, Smash 3DS, Wii U, whatever you want to call it, had a lot of third-party Mii costumes, many of which were DLC, but they were all cut from the base of Smash Ultimate, whereas most of the other Mii costumes returned. Now we have Joker, a Sega-owned character, coming in with Sega Mii costumes for sale. So the theory has always been that those Mii costumes from third-party companies may have been cut from the base game so that they could be added in later so that those third-party companies could make money off of them for every time that they're sold, which made sense. But now we're seeing that Sega's Mii costumes, or at least the Tails and Knuckles one, I believe there were also Virtua Fighter costumes in Smash Bros. 4, and those aren't here, but we have Persona ones instead. Those are coming in alongside a DLC character that's also owned by Sega. So, here's the Mii costume theory. It's possible that the other companies that had Mii costumes in Smash 4 will resell those Mii costumes alongside a fighter from those companies. Now, I know that means that it narrows down, where many of these Challenger Pack fighters could be coming from, what companies they're coming from. And that sounds kind of crazy, but it does make financial sense to resell these Mii costumes. Now, it's possible the Mii costumes could come back not alongside a fighter, but so far, Sega's Mii costumes have come back alongside a Sega fighter. So this could be the start of a pattern. This sounds a little crazy because it would greatly narrow down which characters could possibly be coming as DLC. We'd need at least a Capcom, Namco, and Square rep as part of this Challenger Pack. Konami was not a part of Smash 4, so they didn't have any Mii costumes from then. But it's still possible they could get another fighter here and sell Mii costumes in that way. It's also possible that maybe they'll replace by something else, such as Microsoft and Xbox, something like that. Now, again, this does sound kind of crazy because of how much it narrows things down, but I also think that the whole theory that Spirit's deconfirmed characters sounded really crazy because it narrowed things down. And this one actually has a financial, backing to it. This one actually makes sense that maybe those fighting Mii costumes were taken out because those companies wanted to sell them later on. So I'm not going to go too in-depth with this right now because, like I said, I'm going to make, I think, a whole video on this theory because I actually think it's pretty compelling. If you put your bias aside, it does make sense. I mean, this is the way that those companies could make some money off of those Mii costumes, and so far we have a Sega character with Sega Mii costumes. So we would need a Capcom character, a Namco character, and a Square character. We already have Erdrick as a frontrunner for one of the characters, so that would mean a Namco character, a Tekken character, Tales of character, possibly a Soul Calibur character, and we need a Capcom character. I just said before that now that Joker has a gun, I'm kind of thinking Resident Evil has a good shot. So not that crazy that those companies might take spots in the rest of the Challenger Pack, and then that leaves one open, potentially a Konami character, though I don't think there's that many to choose from, to be honest, with what we already have in the game. So that last spot could be Microsoft, might be Banjo. That's where I'm leaning, and again, I'll make a whole video on that soon. Alright, so that was just a lot of stuff we covered, guys. As a final note, Isabelle, Pichu, and Pokemon Trainer got their Amiibo release dates announced. It's July 26th, so if you're an Amiibo fan like me, get ready to pre-order those. And yeah, if you guys have any comments about any of the stuff we talked about in this video, feel free to leave it below. I believe my next video will be about going in depth with that Mii costume theory because I actually think it's pretty compelling. Yeah, so I think that'll be the next video, barring any unforeseen news or something that I have to do a video about. So get ready for that one, guys. So once again, Thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.